Everyone, and welcome back to Align as Fuck. As you notice, we have a little bit of a setup today. This is my new studio. Those of you who don't know, I moved recently, and now I was able to finally build my own studio that is not part of the living room. So now I have like a section of the living room and a section of my studio. So although I'm still building, but I did want to show off with my new studio, and hopefully you like the setup because I think that's going to be the setup for the next season. Today, we have an exciting episode because I give you a lot of tips about business and about alignment and about how to build your own life and how to create this future that I'm creating. And if you are an entrepreneur, a business owner, or a creative, or somebody who is considering this journey of being on your own and creating your own business and building your own empire, I'm giving a lot of tips, but today's episode is for you to decide whether you really want to take that chance. Because today I'm going to talk about the pros and cons when it comes to having your own business, about the hardships and about the good things, about the rewards, but also about the risks. I want to tell you really what it's like to have your own business because obviously, working for yourself is considered better in many cases, but you need to know whether you're really built for that. And it is hard and it takes time to get there, and it's also not for everybody. So if you're still considering whether maybe it's for you or not, maybe after this episode you're going to have a little bit of an idea what it's like to run your own business and whether you want to take that chance. That being said, I think that if you are watching my channel and if you are finding all these tips useful, you are the kind of person who wants to take your own path. You are the kind of person who should have your own business because in this channel, I talk about it so much. However, if you do decide that businesses is not for you and you want to keep working 9 to 5, just know that everything is acceptable. Whatever journey you go in your life, as long as you're happy with that choice, that's the most important thing. That's what matters. Not everyone should have a business. Not everybody wants to have a business, and that's fine. So if after this video you're like, you know what, I'm going to stay at my job. I like my job. I don't want to have my own business. That's totally fine. There are a lot of episodes in this channel that are not only and necessarily about having your own business. And just to mention that you can have a side business while having a regular job as well. In this world and this economy today, that's pretty much what we all do. So this video should still be useful, but if you find this video not useful, just know that I have a bunch of other videos that you can watch. So number one is freedom. You're gonna have your own freedom when you decide that you're your own boss. You have the freedom to run your business as you wish, to do whatever you want, to wake up at any time you want. You have that freedom. There's no annoying boss yelling at you. There's no one that tells you what to do. You do what you want to do, and you do it for yourself. However, that also means that you don't have a safety net. Whatever you worked that month, that's the money you're gonna get. There is no guaranteed paycheck that you're gonna get every month after doing whatever job, whether you did it or not, if you were sick or not. When you run your own business, it's pretty much all on you. So with that freedom also comes the responsibility that now you need to guarantee yourself that you can actually get that paycheck just by yourself. So in the beginning, every month becomes a gamble, and that's scary. That's hard. That's not easy. But you do have your freedom. Number two, when having your own business, is that especially in the beginning, you need to understand that you're gonna wear all hats. You're gonna be everything. You're gonna be the CEO. You're gonna be the marketing team. You're gonna be the editing team. You're gonna be the social media team, the sales team, the web designer, the photographer. You're gonna be absolutely everybody, because you're on your own. If you're opening this business with a partner, you're lucky and you have people with you, that's amazing and that's wonderful. But you still need to know how to play all those roles. It's easier nowadays with AI because you can ask AI anything, you can learn everything online, you can hire an AI, to do that job. It doesn't mean you don't need to know how to do it yourself, but there's a lot of help that AI can do, so you don't need to stress about a lot of the things. So if you don't know how to market, you never advertise on Facebook, for example, or you never used Instagram, whatever it is whatever it is that you're doing, you can always go to ChatGPT or any other AI and ask how to do that, and ask ChatGPT or any other AI to teach you the process. There's also AI that can do the job for you, like there are a bunch of AIs there that even I don't still use and don't know. But nowadays it's way easier to be your own team because you have a lot of outside help that you don't need to pay for as much as you would pay to hire a team. Number 3 is that now the risks are real. Now you are the decision maker. You are the person who's responsible for whatever it is that's happening with your business. You need to take risks. As a business owner, you have to know when to make a decision and how to make it. And it's not always going to be the right decision. You're going to fuck up sometimes. It's going to happen. Sometimes you're going to make the wrong decision. Sometimes you're going to make the wrong investment. Sometimes you're going to fuck up a sales pitch. Sometimes you're going to forget to add something in a section of a contract. You're going to have all those little mistakes, but you also need to understand that your work will consist of taking risks and taking decisions. There's no more blaming the boss for making the wrong decision. There is no more blaming the other employee that didn't do their job. You are the job. You are the business. You made a decision. You executed the decision. Or if you have employees, you gave them the order to do something. So all the responsibilities lie on you. You fucked up. You need to take responsibility and you need to make a decision to fix that fuck up. And that's a lot on your shoulders that you need to be prepared for. And then you're going to understand why your boss was always constantly so annoying about your job because they have a lot on their shoulders too. And yes, there are some assholes out there as bosses, but I feel like when you start running your own business, you understand why bosses act sometimes the way they do and what they get annoyed at us when we do something stupid because it's their responsibility to fix this shit and they are the responsible party when it comes to their business. You're gonna get it when you have employees, but I hope you're a nicer boss when you have employees. I hope you're like a good boss to, to work for. Now, number 4, I feel like I already mentioned it, but number 4 is that everything is your fault and everything is your responsibility. So basically, whatever goes wrong in your business, that's your responsibility. If you're not making sales, you need to figure this out. If your ad is not working, you need to figure this out. If money's not coming in, you need to figure this out. If clients are unhappy, you need to figure this out. Everything is on you and your responsibility. Now, I mentioned it in every other point, but it's a lot on your shoulders. And you need to understand whenever you're opening a business, whenever you're starting something new, you need to know if you are tough enough to handle that. Now, that being said, a lot of people will think, nah, I'm not that strong. I don't know what to do. I'm not capable. That's too much. Just know that when you take the chance and you start a business and you start your own thing, everything seems so scary. Everything seems actually way scarier than it is. And when you start doing that with time, you're going to get the experience of running a business. And you will understand that even fucking up and even taking responsibility and accountability for everything, it's not as scary as it seems, even when you fuck up, even when you make mistakes. Hopefully, your mistakes will not cost you your business because, sometimes mistake can cost us our business. So hopefully you will not make these types of mistakes. But, an unhappy client or a bad product at first or something that doesn't go right, or maybe the store or the business or the product is not making enough money, it's going to happen. It's okay. But keep going, keep building that because not everything is like this right away and your business is just wonderful and successful within the first week of the business. I hope it is. I wish that's how it will go for you. But if not, just know that it's a matter of trial and experience. And, you make mistakes, you learn from them and you do that. For example, me and my photography business, I have a contract that I send my clients, but it took me a long time to build that contract because of mistakes that I kept doing, because of requests that clients kept asking me because it wasn't part of the contract. So every time I added a little bit to the contract, and every time I'm like, oh shit, okay, they're asking that because I didn't add that to the contract. It wasn't clear in my agreement. Let me add that section when it says I don't deliver raw photos. And now the client knows that I don't deliver raw photos and I don't need to fight them after the session because it was in the contract. So every time I add a little bit, but it came with tears and pain of, oh my God, explaining to the client. And there's a lot of sections like that, or little fuck ups that I need to fix, or little things that I needed to adjust and learn. And it was painful and it cost me money and it wasn't right. And it was, But I learned it and it's fine. It's not the end of the world. That's part of being a business, building your own thing. It's not just all like, woohoo, my own money. Yeah. It takes time to get there and it's okay. So don't be terrified from all the responsibilities and accountability and mistakes, and it's gonna be okay. Now, number 5 is pretty important, and I talk about it a lot on this channel because it's relevant to everything that we do, but especially when you start a business. I assume that starting a business, you are doing something that is your passion. You're doing something that you wanna do, that you're good at, that you wanna provide, that you enjoy at least most of the time, right? And so a big part of it is you being motivated to do that. But motivation comes and goes. And when you're building your own business, your own empire, motivation is not enough. You need to be disciplined. So you need to choose discipline over motivation, because sometimes you will wake up and today is a bad day and it's raining and something happened and you didn't drink your coffee or your whatever it is. So you feel like you're not motivated to do what you need to do for the business. It doesn't mean that you just lie in bed and do nothing. That's just the wrong way to look at it. So you need to be disciplined. If you decide to go for it, if you decide to build that thing, you need to commit to yourself. Especially if you already quit your job and you're working on your business, you need to wake up in the morning thinking, I'm going to work. It's my job, it's my business, but I need to show up for that. I can't just lie in bed because today I don't have any clients, so let me just rest and chill and just watch TV because I don't feel like doing anything. If that's how you run your business, it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to go well. You can rest sometimes. And please, I always recommend to take at least one day a week to rest, to travel, to hike, to go to the beach, to recharge, to sleep. That's so important. But it can't be every day just because you don't have clients or ideas today. You need to know how to take this time to recharge. But then when the week starts, you go back full time and you work on your business. And even if you're not motivated, you will work on something and you will move forward and you will work. Now, point number 6 is that the income is unpredictable. And that's a pro and a con at the same time, because it's really everything does depend on you, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you don't control the season, sometimes you don't control the weather, sometimes, well, you never control the weather, but there are certain factors that you can't control. So depending on your industry, sometimes the season is not the right season for whatever industry it is. For example, you're opening a restaurant on the beach in Coney Island, right? You need to be prepared for the fact that winter is going to be a slow season. The same thing, I know that around June, July, it's a slow season for me. So I need to be prepared with my money for June, July, because I know I'm not going to have as many clients as I have in September, October. I know that. I didn't before, so it hit me pretty hard, in the beginning. But now I already know that. So I'm preparing myself for these seasons and I have my savings for these months in advance, or I have a better marketing plan for these times, or I have an idea to how to advance the business still, although I know it's running slow in a certain season. But that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying it's unpredictable. So sometimes you can make below average. Sometimes you can make way above average. It really depends. It depends on you and it depends on the world. Because depending on what industry you're in and what business you're providing, you also need to know how to prepare yourself for, better seasons and worse seasons. So, but again, pros and cons, right? Like sometimes you will have a month that you just didn't work at all. It was so slow, you lost a lot of money. And then the next month you get like a client every day and you already made up for the past 3 months. So you never know. You need to think whether it's in your personality to be okay with that especially in the beginning, it will take time for you to understand how the money flow goes. It will be unpredictable. It will be it's never the same. But to be honest, when you work 9 to 5, it can be unpredictable as well, because I don't know what you work at, but sometimes you can get fired out of nowhere, or sometimes, they change your position, or you were waiting for this promotion and it never happened. And you do have your paycheck every month, but it can be gone any moment. You can, unfortunately, in this economy, people get fired with no warning all the time. You need to secure yourself, even if you're working 9 to 5, you need to secure yourself, they say, at least 3 months in advance. So if you get fired, you have 3 months to live on the money that you have saved up until you find another job. So even having a 9 to 5 is not always as secure as it seems. And another con of the 9 to 5 is that the paycheck is always predictable, yes, but it's always predictable. You're never gonna make more than what it is. There is no growth there. Yes, only if you get a promotion, but then you got a promotion, then for a few years there you get the same paycheck over and over and over and over again. When you're a business, you can come up with ideas to always make more. There is no ceiling to how much you can make as your own business, as your own person. It requires a lot of energy, but it's possible. So the return is much higher if you're willing to do the work. Point number 7 is that it can get lonely, unfortunately. And this is something, again, I don't know if you like your alone time. I don't know how you are, but having your own business and running things by yourself can get lonely because you're not going to work every day. You're not in the office. And some of you will say, thank God, finally. But for some people, you need your office time, you need your friends, your work environment, which is okay. It's completely fine. If it's not a toxic environment and if you enjoy this environment, it's amazing to have that, to go every day to see the people you like, and have your work laughs and work jokes and, talk about whatever. But when you have your own business, that's not the case. You will find yourself being alone a lot. So here is when I try to go to networking events and I try to collaborate with other creatives and I try to still go out and still be in a certain circle of the same environment that allows me to talk to other people and not just sit at home and edit YouTube videos and edit photos and just, like work home, work home. But when I say work, it means that I'm on set and I'm not really communicating to people all the time because, I work a lot with restaurants. So I photograph food and then, you know, not much of work environment there. And I don't have an office that I need to be in. I don't need to go anywhere. So I find myself alone a lot. And that can get pretty lonely. So you need to also be prepared for that, especially something that happens a lot is when you decide you want to go your way, you decide you want to have your own business, you want to, change direction, you're going to lose a lot of people. You're going to lose a lot of support from people that knew you before as someone and now you're completely changed and for them it's like, whoa, well, no thank you. And your ambition is going to intimidate them and your success is going to remind them that they're not there, so they're going to pull back. It's going to happen. I'm not going to say it's okay because it sucks. It's not okay. I wish people wouldn't abandon you when you start growing, but it does happen. And then your biggest supporters will become your clients. So, just be prepared. I have 2 more points for you and then we're done for today. If you still haven't, please click the like button below because it helps me grow. And if you like the content of this channel, you can subscribe and click the bell notification because I have these episodes coming out every 2 weeks. And I do have music coming out all the time. So if you haven't checked out my channel and you're new to the channel, just to remind you, my name is Vika and I'm a creator. I'm a musician, a photographer, model, a little bit of an actress, caster, entrepreneur in general. I'm doing so many things. So feel free to check out my music right here in this playlist. And if you're just here because you like the episode, so just like the episode, why not? I mean, it's nice and it's free, right? Yeah, thank you. But let's continue. So the next point is, again, a pro and a con at the same time. But I want you to remember that whatever you're doing, success takes time. It takes time to build. It's not easy. I wish it was, but the sentence, if it was easy, everyone would do it. It's not for everyone. That's why you're watching this video, trying to understand whether it's for you or not. And if you are gonna decide that it's for you, and I wish you will because it's amazing, you need to remember that success takes time. It takes time to get the clients. It takes time to learn. It takes time to get to the point where everything just runs smoothly. And even when it does, it's still gonna get a little tricky at a time because we always grow. growing and expanding and nothing stays in place. So you are always being challenged. You're not just coming, doing your job, and going home. This is your life. As a business owner, this is such a huge part of your life, and it has ups and downs. But to get to the point where it's success, it's gonna take a little time. And I need you to remember that, because you're gonna have times when you're here that you wanna give up and you're thinking of going back to your old job, and you're thinking of like, oh my God, I'm tired. I want my paycheck back. I want the stability back. I don't know, it's too much for me. You're gonna have these moments. But if you make the decision, and I encourage you so badly, if you make the decision to do that, give yourself the time to grow without giving up. Have your savings, so you're secure, so you're fine, so you're okay. And I would recommend, when starting your own business, don't quit your job yet. Don't do that yet, because this safety net will help you while you're building and while you're growing, and it's good to have. And shift, gradually, because when you still have your 9 to 5, or your part-time job, or whatever you're doing, and you start doing your business, because you have this safety net, you're gonna be way calmer, and you're gonna have more opportunities to take that risk for your business, because you know that, look, you kind of have something to fall back onto. And not that, how do I explain that? Like, don't think, okay, let me just try that. If not, I'll still have this thing. Don't think that. Think like, okay, I still have this job, but I'm gradually shifting to my new thing. And while I'm here and I'm building this empire here that is mine, I'm going to wait until a certain point. And then when I'm ready, I'm going to quit this job and I'm going to leave it behind, and I'm going to say thank you for being here for me, but I'm willing to spread my own wings. Spread your wings when you're ready, okay? So have the security, but be ready to leave that when you're ready with your job. But don't just like quit tomorrow and then without savings, without nothing, just open a new business, because you need the saving, you need the money from this job to invest in the new one, because you need to have your product, your service, you need to advertise it, you need to like do shitloads of things for that. So, just do it slowly and gradually, and when you're ready, full shift. That's how people do it. And the last point that I want to mention is the most important one, in my opinion. But when you have your own business, it's yours. It's yours. You are the boss of yourself. You are in charge of everything. You are the one to decide what's gonna happen. What's the product? What's the service? What's the quality? Who's the client? What's the message? You are to decide everything. And it's such an amazing feeling to not answer to anyone who's gonna yell at you because they think you didn't do your job right. You don't need to argue with anyone who you want to like rip their head off because you know they're wrong and they have no idea how much work you did. And you don't need to beg for a raise, and you don't need to call somebody and be like, I'm going to be late for work today. I'm so sorry. I'm stuck in traffic. You don't need to do that. You're your own boss. Don't be late to your clients. I'm not saying you need to be, but you don't need to answer to anyone. It's you. You are the boss of yourself, and you're making all the decisions. And this is such an amazing feeling. And guess what? All the money you make, except taxes, it's all yours. There is no boss above you who's going to make 80% of that sale and you're going to get your 20. No. No, you're working solely for yourself. There is nobody above you sitting there and being like, oh, can you finish your job so I can, fly to Japan? No, it's you. You get to fly to Japan. In the end of the day, you made the money. It's yours, and it's the name of your business, and it's your idea coming to life, and it's your life. And there is no more amazing feeling than that. But that being said, if that's not for you, that's okay. But if it is, and you want that, and you want your business, and you want to have that baby of yours, the thing you were dreaming of, be prepared for hard work, but do it. Give yourself a chance to have that life, because it's amazing. If you want to work 9 to 5, if you're not like in the business world, and you are not an entrepreneur, and you're having your job and you like going to work and just doing your job, That's completely fine. Again, this channel is about finding your alignment in life, finding your purpose, whatever it is that makes you happy, whatever it is that makes you fly in the morning, even if it's a Monday. And if for you, an amazing life is just waking up and going to work and be a vet or, a lawyer at a firm or a construction worker because you love it. That's great. That's amazing. If you're enjoying that, that's amazing. But if one day you want to open your own construction company or you want to have your own clinic, just do it. Just do it. When you're ready, just do it. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope you enjoyed my studio. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the content and go listen to my music because it's dope. And I'll see you in 2 weeks.